Hey there, Jeff Miller, just checking out your email. You have a podcast, but you're not sure how to get it up onto iTunes. And so my course is podcastcrusher.com, and that gives you the steps on how to get it up on iTunes. So basically, the steps here, you have a WordPress blog, right? You record an MP3 audio file, you upload MP3 audio file to a special sort of hosting service, and then you take that link to MP3 file, all right? And then you go to your blog, you make a new blog post. Under the blog post, there's a place to paste in the MP3 file, link, URL, whatever you want to call it, and then iTunes picks that up, okay? So let me sort of show you a few things about that. Okay, so basically, this is my website. This is where my blog lives, and then also there for my podcast, right? Because your blog posts are also podcast episodes if they contain audio. So I have this latest show right here, this latest episode, and I just add a title, all that stuff. I paste in this URL, this link to the audio file, and then iTunes knows to pick that up. And then the only sort of, I mean, there's a few sort of little gotchas, but basically there's this place right here where we log into iTunes and we submit our show. So I have two shows. I have a show about membership sites and I have my regular show. And so I can kind of go here and I can see basically to set this up, I had to give Apple this special link right here. And so we guide you through this. The podcasting plugin we show you gives you this link, and then you submit this to iTunes one time. And then once they picked it up, then now every time you post to this particular blog, then they'll just add it as the most recent episode in there, right? And so here's the membership site podcast. We have that. And then if I go back and, oops, is there, here we go. So if we go kind of back here, we see that there's also the Robert Plank Show. And then I got this, from my podcasting plugin. Doesn't matter all the fancy stuff on it. I just copied it and pasted it over here onto iTunes. And then what that gives us is every time that we make a new blog post and we make sure to paste in that special link to the audio, it adds it onto here. And that's as simple as it is. And I want to show you click by click, step by step how to do that. But you specifically asked about how to get it submitted to iTunes, and that's pretty much the way. Is there's a special place in Apple's website that you go to, and you just say you click this plus sign actually, and you enter this special link from your podcasting plugin, and then after they look at it, after they approve it, then now every time you make a new blog post on your site and it includes an audio file, they will make sure to add this to their directory. And that also means that, well, it means a couple of cool things. Let me log in here to my site here. So let's say if we did an episode on WordPress membership sites, right? So this is in the built-in iPhone, iTunes app, right? Or like whatever podcasting app you use. So check out how cool that is, right? Hoping that the screen's big enough. I don't know why it did that. Full screen. I guess that's not gonna do. All right, there we go. Well, we had it for a second. Well, anyway, all right. So so I searched. You see at the top there, you searched WordPress membership, and then what shows up? Everything is me, right? We have a bunch. All these episodes are mine. These are both of my podcasts. I show my two things show up as number one here. We can kind of page through, and there are just all these different episodes about membership sites. So I get all that sort of keyword loving right there, right? If I think about different guests that I've had on my show, so I mean, someone who comes to mind who was just talking to me this morning on Twitter, Corey Livingstone, right? So if this person is super popular, why search someone else's name? But look who shows up number one. I'm number one on the podcast episodes, and then also on the podcast themselves. If I search for famous internet marketers, if I search say like Armin Morin, then all right, so it looks like Armin's kind of up in his podcasting game. He shows up here, and then somewhere in here, ooh, maybe I need to look at why this is, but somewhere in here I show up. I used to outrank him. Oh, something weird happened there. Okay, so anyway, if I search, let me try like some other friends of mine. If I search different people's names, so some people are harder to rank for than others. If I search for different things like Kunaki is a service that I use. I talked about it all in there. And then now if someone's looking for using this particular service, there we go. Another thing I talk a lot about is something called Wishlist Member, which is a piece of software. And then here we go, right? I have spots 1, 2, and 4. It looks like there's Lance Tomashiro has some cool stuff in there. All the second tab is mine. So lots of interesting stuff. And most importantly, when you search my name, haven't done this in a while. When you search my name, it's unmistakable to find all of my stuff and then to find these different shows where I've appeared as well. And another thing out of curiosity, if I have this other tool I use, so also, yep, so in here, whoops, is there's a super popular program or a company called Zapier, and I'm not ranked number 1, but I'm still in here right there. There's my face right there. So this is really powerful because you can target these different keywords that otherwise would have been super hard to rank for. Like I don't even know how I would rank for like WordPress membership sites. And so basically you get this on iTunes and then you can kind of double dip. That way you can rank if someone is searching their podcasting app, searching the Google Play Store, searching Stitcher, whatever, now they can find you as a person to listen to, a person to subscribe to, all that. And so podcastcrusher.com is the place where we show you those steps. You basically have a WordPress blog, you record an audio file, you put it on there, and then you have a blog post, and there's just a special place under the blog post where you can add that audio file. And then the very first time that you go ahead and do this, you submit to Apple, submit the podcast feed to Apple. What is the podcast feed? You don't even have to know what that is. It's just a special link that you give to Apple. Once they approve it, their system will check that link a few times a day to see if you have new podcast episodes. And if you do, then they'll promote you. Everyone who has like an iPhone or whatever, if they're subscribed to your podcast, they get notified. It downloads, and then you kind of get this bonus thing wherever that was, where you also get. So if I search, for example, Robert Plank Show iTunes, so you also get listed on their special kind of web page. So anyway, I hope that made sense. Hope that wasn't too sort of long-winded there. Podcastcrusher.com, and then once it's in place, it's just a matter of adding the audio component underneath your blog post. So anyway, hope that helps. Hope to talk soon, and so I'll talk to you later. Bye.